Let's suppose everything you thought about the furry fandom was only a part of the story, and there's a whole side of it that really gets talked about. My name is Ray Rourke, and today I am going to talk about the misunderstandings and misbeliefs of the furry community. What is the thought that comes to mind when you get wind of the word furry? For many, it is bizarre, inappropriate, and alarming. However, that is what we've been taught, obviously. Though many portray the very subculture as sexually deviant, credible sources show the community is creative, social, and very supportive fan base that is centered on expressing yourself and belonging. How are furries not sexual deviants? Well, the furry community often faces a bad reputation from media outlets because of biased misconceptions. And, of course, it's about identity, not sex. How media stereotypes have twisted public interpretations. For one instance, a CSI episode called Fur and Loathing aired on October 2003. This episode totally portrayed furries as fetish maniacs, to be honest, while giving people the biased idea that we are all sexual deviants as an entire race. Another form of example is from an educational PBS video that speaks on the positive side of the community, but also goes into depth about the public believing we worship pornography. Another video on YouTube from the great Uncle Kage as he speaks against the media portraying us having sex in a fursuit. With that being stated, what is a furry? Furries are people who have an interest in anthropomorphism, which specifically refers to giving human characteristics to animals. In most distilled form, furries are a group of people who formed a community or fandom because they have a common interest in anthropomorphic media. And as you see to our right, we have two very important leaders in the furry fandom. Dr. Sharon Roberts, a furry researcher and supporter. Dr. Roberts quotes, "People need to understand the furry subculture is not always what is portrayed in television, shows, or movies." And below, we also have Dr. Samuel Conway, also known as Uncle Kage, who has been a huge pillar of the furry fandom since 1965. What is furry fandom? Furry fandom is an exclusive term that describes a community of furries that span online, local, and international settings. The furry fandom is global, with hundreds of local groups existing worldwide, and dozens of conventions held annually. Now that we have knowledge of what a furry is, let's dive into a few of the largest myths about the community. Biased assumptions versus real facts. One of the most biased assumptions about the furry fandom is that being a furry is considered a sexual fetish, or that every furry is continuously engaged in sex. This very myth casts a negative word upon the entire subculture, as most in the furry fandom participate in local connections, not sexual connections. Studies by Courtney Platt, 2016, found that only a small minority of participants report sexual desires as a key reason for being a part of the fandom. Majority of members report reasons for joining, such as creativity, shared or similar interests, and social bonds. And of course, here's myself as a furry. I've been a furry since middle school. So there's my persona. Myth and fact. Myth. Furries have sex while in their fursuits. Fact. Fursuits can excessively become very hot inside up to 100 degrees and will cause you to get sick or even worse. The suit is also known to be hard to clean and can damage easily with any wrong move. Another myth and fact. Myth, the furry fandom is nothing but a fetish involving porn. This biased myth casts a negative word upon the entire subculture as most individuals participate in social connections, not sexual connections. Together we have examined biased information. So, we've examined that with many exaggerations, so let us concentrate on what the community truly symbolizes. Okay. Oh, my bad, let's go back. The positive aspects and beliefs of the furry fandom. The furry fandom or community involves a built foundation on itself and expression, creativity, and strong vibes of belonging. Several members of the community participate in creative outlets such as role-playing, digital art, and consumer designing while allowing those to express their unique and beautiful identities. Research states that several members report feeling a strong sense of belonging within the fandom. The fandom promotes diversity and respect, welcoming people from diverse cultures and backgrounds while promising understanding rather than judgment. So the point being made is misinterpreting groups can lead to biased judgment. Conclusion. No, my bad. Okay, conclusion. Well, as I conclude, from critics' biased viewpoints, the furry fandom is nothing but sexually deviant characters, as they say. But this does not hold a match when you see strong, credible proof. What you will find is a loving and supportive community created on a foundation of supportive bonds with many individuals communicating in unison and harmony to present their ways and arts that make them feel knowledgeable. As we bypass all the critics and biased information as well as heating incredibly strong research, we have a better acknowledgement that the furry fandom isn't about the assumptions that biased individuals create, but about acceptance along with authentic bonding. So, today we discussed what a furry is, introduced a better and more positive understanding to everyone about the furry fandom, and we examined how media platforms betrayals have deformed the public knowledge and understanding. On another note, I challenge everyone to reconsider what you believe to be is true about the furry fandom and make a mindful attempt to question critics and stereotypes before accepting them as the truth. For at the end of the day, misunderstanding a community or fandom base does not define who we are. It will merely cap our own ability to comprehend the end of individuals within it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray.